Welcome again to my channel. My name is Sekwati Pitso and I'm talking about biblical principles for investing, and the title of this series is Hope for Tomorrow. As you look at, if you have watched the last episode, you'll remember where we ended. But before then, I just want to say thank you again for people who are posting and commenting. And if you like this video, please press thumbs up. If you don't like it, you're also allowed to thumbs down. But I hope you'd like it and you'll love it. You'll always give me a thumbs up. And also, if you want to get notification from time to time when we post new, just click on the bell. It will send us a message immediately. It will send you a message immediately we post a new video, so that you get your new video. And also leave us your comments and your if you want to send a private message, you can do that, but I would love if you do it on the platform. Today we'll be talking about the last of the options that I spoke about, the options for investment, which just to go again, it's fixed savings, it's your tax-free investment, it's your pension fund, it's your retirement, it's SA retail bonds, it's endowment, unit trust, exchange traded funds, listed shares, and property. Before I talk about the today's which is RA, retirement annuity, I just remembered and also being reminded about people who, when we're talking about ETFs, exchange traded funds, there are exchange traded funds that are focusing only on property. If you don't like to invest in bricks and mortar, there are ETFs that you can, Satric Prop, I can't remember the other one, but those are you can just check the property, then you invest in your property instead of investing in brick and mortar. Like, I don't like brick and mortar, but I like the ETFs. So today we're talking about retirement annuity. Most of you who are working, if you don't work for yourself, you work for a company, you work for a government, you'll either have a provident fund or pension fund. And if you don't, then you would have RA. When I started working, I had a provident fund, and I was hop-nopping from one job to the next. So in that, every time there was a payout, I would take the money from the provident fund and do the nice thing about it and make sure that no cent is remaining. Then along the way, I realized that anyway, sometime we don't want to accept that there is a time that we'll retire. And there's an advert that I like on TV. This advert is from, I think it's but it's done by Mama Lilian Dube. She's a very good actor. She tells you about if you want a funeral with dignity. Why would you want a funeral with dignity when you are dead? And then don't invest in your retirement. Invest in your retirement with dignity, because you are going to experience retirement, but you're not going to experience death. When you are dead, you are dead. Somebody will have dignity, not you. So most of the young people do not think about retirement because they think it's very, very, very far. It's a foreign concept. I thought that way, But ultimately, somebody convinced me to have retirement annuity. And unfortunately, as you remember, it was Old Mutual. So I had my first retirement annuity with Old Mutual. What is the retirement annuity? Retirement annuity prepares, it's money that you put aside, an investment that you invest for your retirement when you retire. Whether you want to retire at the age of 50, 40, it does not matter. But you're going to draw it until I think it's about 55. I think, yeah, about 55 in South Africa. Then you can withdraw money from that. The advantage of the retirement annuity is the tax structure. If you work for a company, the company would maybe give you a pension fund or provident fund. They would pay a certain portion. You will pay maybe 15%, they will pay 10%, or they will pay 12%, depending on the company that you work for. Then you'll contribute this. You don't have any say in your provident fund or your pension fund. The fund managers are the ones who decide where to invest your money. So your retirement annuity, it's a vehicle that on the side of your pension fund, if you do have, if you don't have, it will be the only investment that you have for retirement. It's structured in such a way that you can invest up to 27.5 of your pre-tax amount. So at the end of the financial year, when you submit your tax returns to SARS, whatever money you have contributed to your RA, they will minus that from your total annual salary. If you contributed 10%, they will only minus 10%. If it's 27%, they will minus 25% and tax the remaining. And then put back into your account the 27%. So ultimately you will pay less tax. So that is an advantage of having an RA. So if you have pension fund, provident fund from your employer, find out exactly how much your contribution is. If you contribute 15%, have a retirement annuity on the side where you're going to invest the remainder of 27 minus 15, so you invest that. At the end of the year, when you submit both your RA and your provident fund, and the receiver deduct those to a maximum of 27%. Sorry, 27%, the maximum is 350,000 per annum, or 27, not maximum, it's 27%, 27.5 or 350, whichever is greater. They will deduct that from your salary. So from your salary and then tax it. So it is one way of making sure that you retire in dignity. So I had my RA with Old Mutual, and the old structured retirement annuity were such that you didn't even know what was in there, because this person will come with a laptop and tell you that you do this every year, you increase your premiums by so much, premium update facility, PAF, and then you do 10% and it will increase it. Later on, as I knew about investment, I went back and then checked my RA and found that it was wanting. It was not giving me anything. And I had friends then who had theirs in among the other companies. Metropolitan, the Old Mutual one was doing better than the Metropolitan. So I then decided to go out and look for something. I went to Liberty and found another retirement annuity. So I almost stopped the one from Old Mutual, because when I wanted to withdraw my money, they told me how much tax I was going to pay. They are going to fine I was going to pay. So I left it there and opened a new RA. And in this RA, I could choose the unit trust that to invest. So I chose my unit trusts. So today, when you invest in your RA, you can choose your unit trust. And remember, when you choose your unit trust, ask for the facts sheets so that you can see what is it that you're investing in, whether that unit trust is performing or not. Don't allow them to just say, no, this one is performing. Ask for a fact sheet and check the fact sheet. So your retirement annuity, somebody asked me, and this is what also, how do you determine, how would you know that your retirement annuity will be sufficient in the future? And that is a very serious question, and it takes a lot of effort. If you go to an advisor, they would sit down with you and calculate and tell you this is how much you would need in the future, taking into what you need now, what you are spending now. They always project about, they will say 75% of your last salary is what you'll need. But the question is, if I'm 30, what will be 75% of my last salary? You don't know. It might be 10 times more than what you are earning now, or it might be 20 times, so you don't know. So how do you prepare for something that you don't even know about? So it is that, and how did I do it? As I was doing some research, I came across one concept, they call it the rule of 4. The rule of 4, it's a concept that came from one of the, I think the person is an actuarial scientist in America who started working on this. The question that what he was working on is, in your retirement, how much money would you have to draw every month to ensure that what you have will last you forever? When I'm saying forever, you might retire at the age of 50, or you might retire at the age of 40, then you'd live up to 100. So how much money do you need to live up to 100? How much money did I need to live up to 100 when I was thinking about my retirement? And I had to, what I did is I applied the rule of 4. So the rule of 4 says you take your expenses, your monthly expenses, and then those monthly expenses you times by 12, and it gives you a number. Whatever number you have, that is your annual expenses, you divide that by 4%, and then it will give you what you need. Or the same rule of 4 has, you can use, if you don't want to be using percentage, you just take your monthly expenses, you times by 300. It will give the same amount, it will the same number. So that's what I did. But the thing is, your expenses increases. So when I was planning for my retirement, I didn't use my expenses. I used my total salary before tax. I said, if my total salary before tax is this amount, times it by 300. And it gave me a very, very high number than if I had used my expenses. And I think for me, it was like, wow. It was a shock, the difference between my monthly expenses, and the total that I get if I use my monthly expenses, and the total that I get if I use my monthly salary. But I stuck with my monthly salary. For some reason, when you get older, things change. Currently, I know of 2 people who are going for their back operations in the next month or so. The other one is, I think, in the next two weeks. And we don't get younger, we get older. The older you get, the more medical attention you need. So yes, you won't be paying when you are retired. You probably have finished your bond, you'll have probably finished your car, your children will not be going to school, but your expenses would not necessarily go down to 20 to 80%. For me, that's, and also for me, I love traveling, so I should also budget for traveling in my retirement. So I could not take it out. So that is why I used my total salary. So the question which somebody asked me about this is, what about inflation? The rule of 4 is not perfect. There are other calculations that we would use. Other people would say you must use 15%, so that 15 times 15 instead of times 300, and there are so many of those. But for me, it is 4% rule. It's not perfect, but it's more than 90% accurate. So anything that is more than 80% accurate, it for me does it. It gets A. So somebody asked me about the inflation. The 4% rule includes, it actually calculates inflation in. The South African inflation, it's currently is hovering around 7%. So this is calculated over a period of time. This person who calculated, although American inflation is lower, it was done over almost 100 years or so, calculating this. So the 4% rule says, when you retire, when you withdraw 4% per annum from your retirement, that will ensure that you have your money for a very long time until you die. Remember that the 4% rule does not take into account what people do. Currently you have a third of your total retirement package that you can take out and then buy your living annuity or guaranteed annuity with a 2/3. The 4% rule takes everything into account, that you bulk the whole amount into one. They also think about this with the retirement annuity. There is a new system that is coming next year, 2024. They call it the 2-pot system. The 2-pot system came as a result. It was long overdue, but COVID actually exposed that. As you remember, a lot of people during COVID lost their jobs, and other people, their salaries were lower down. They could not afford to pay for their mortgage bond, or others even just pay their basics. So the new proposal of the two-pot system for the RA is that when you buy your RA, 2/3 goes into your retirement and 1/3 goes into your savings. So they go parallel throughout. And once a year, you can withdraw money from your savings. And until when you retire, it will just be calculated what is a third of your entire portfolio. Then they will give you the remaining. What I would advise you, and what I did, is that I did not draw a third when I retire. People draw that money, just to blow it. Why not increase your monthly withdrawal instead of taking 1/3, use it, and then your monthly withdrawals are low. So my advice is when you get to that, don't even think about that you're going to blow your third. Even with this pot system, the two-pot system, don't withdraw money from your savings. It's a compound interest. If you draw out money, your pot is not going to grow. It will remain empty. So remember not to draw anything. And lastly, when you think about the RA, think about augmenting it with your tax-free. Remember your tax-free, then you can augment your RA with a tax-free. That you have your RA, you have your tax-free. When you retire, you have both of them, and you can draw money from both of them. When you draw money from your RA, like I'm doing now, I'm getting taxed. But from the tax-free, there is no tax. So until next time, when we will go, there's a question that has been asked about people who are almost ready to retire. The question is, how are they preparing for their retirement? So we'll talk about that. So when we talk about that, it would be preparing for your retirement. Probably if you are left with 5 years or 10 years, or you are retiring next month, or in 2 weeks. So we'll talk about those. That how do you prepare just before you retire? So next time we'll talk about those. And again, if you like the video, just click like or send comments and your questions, so that particularly for those who are about to retire, send your questions so that when I talk about this, we then zone in on specific question. Thank you.